going on, everybody? There's Stevie, and it is time for my biggest project to date with the van. I've actually got two projects going on. If you watched some of the other videos, you know, just before our Florida trip this year, we had a steel box welded underneath the van to hold our 2,000 watt generator. And that was to be the plan for running our air conditioner. We could lock the generator up in the steel box under the van. Nobody's gonna know it's there, and it will just sound like an internal generator. Because the problem is we need the AC to run the air conditioner, we need the generator to run the AC in the van so that our dogs stay cool, so that we can leave the dogs and go out and do things when we're on vacation. Apparently you're supposed to break a generator in, meaning there's a bunch of stuff you got to do when you first buy your generator to ensure that it starts and works properly, so that you have good long life of your generator. And I didn't do that. I didn't know about that. So at this point, my 2,000 watt generator not working so well. It's on the fritz, and it failed on the last trip. So I've decided we're gonna need a bigger generator. So part of the problem was as soon as that AC kicks in, you just hear the generator struggling. So I just don't think 2,000 watts is big enough to run an AC properly. So we're getting a big welded box made for the hitch. So it's gonna actually have a hitch mount, and it'll just slide onto a trailer hitch, and we're getting a steel mesh box basically made to hold our new 4,000 watt generator. So that's one project, but I'm not actually doing that. I've contracted that out to a fabricating and welding company, so we're gonna see how they're gonna do. The project I'm taking on is painting Stevie. So you can see, right, like Stevie's old, 19 years old now. And these little things here, we're starting to get some surface rust. And I don't like that at all. And then this has been an issue since we bought the van. So this spot right here is just like a complete rust spot. So I will be cutting that out and welding in a new piece there to clean it up. And you can just see, like, the paint's just tired, man. Like, everything's just staying, and we're getting all these little rust spots in, so no good. I'm not happy with that. And the other thing is our rims are kind of ruined. Okay, so I'm painting the whole van. We're gonna paint the trim. I'm gonna paint the van itself, and we're going one color. We'd also like to make it a little bit more stealthy. So right now, this kind of stuff, this pinstriping, the road trek, all that stuff makes it, like, clearly nobody's gonna mistake this as like a passenger van. But for our trips, it's getting harder and harder to, like, stealth camp. So especially with a van that looks like this. So we're just gonna go nice light gray, all one tone, and just clean it up. And I'm expecting it to take a while. I got some quotes for painting, and it's just too expensive to paint a 19-year-old van of this size. So did some research on the old YouTube, and it looks like a lot of people actually do this with a foam roller and just paint. You got to cut your paint with like mineral spirits or something like that to thin it out, so that you can put on thin coats so it doesn't bubble, it doesn't run, and you don't have those kinds of issues. But that's where we're heading now. So project for today, as I'm getting started, because I got to take all these decals and stuff off, so there's going to be a lot of prep work. But the project for today is this guy here. So look at this. It's been broken since the day we bought it. The little clips never really worked, and then when we washed the van down in Florida, our end cap blew off. And we don't use the awning. We just never use it. Right now it rattles a lot when we're traveling, so we've just decided it's time to go. So I got a couple of rivets to drill out. We're gonna take this guy off, and it's going to the dump. We're gonna scrap it and just clean this van up, but we don't really need the awning, so off it goes. And it'll just be easier to paint and clean up, and it'll just look a lot nicer. So let's get to work. Okay, so Project Stevie continues. At this point, I would say I've got about maybe 15 hours into the van in total. So let's take a look over here. Yesterday, took a wire brush, took out all the rust patches, and then put on this coating. It's supposed to convert places that have been rust previously into a paintable surface. So you can see, it takes where the rust was and it cleans it all up. And kind of like a little primer, but I still got to put a primer on top of that, but it's just prepping those areas. And this is the first side, all sanded. Look at this, all the decals off. It's all sanded up, ready to go for paint. I got to put a degrease wash and then clean the van up so that there's no contaminants on the body, so that the paint adheres properly. And I'm already doing this outside, so yeah, a bug could land on it and melt into it. And this is where I'm at now. And you can see all the Bondo. I took off where the awnings were. They're looking good. And then of course the gas tank, all sanded nice and smooth. And you can see where the awning was up top. It's been Bondoed and sanded up. Well, I gotta sand this stuff here, but that's it. So one more side to go. The hood, the back, and the far side are done. Now I gotta do passenger side, so let's get to work. I don't even know how many days along I am in painting Stevie now. It's too many. I probably put about, there's been at least 9 days separately that I've been working on painting this van, and I would say I put in about 40 hours already. In the last video you saw, I got the first coat of trem clad on, and when it dried out, it looked way too light. This is not what we were looking for. It's almost white. So I got, unfortunately in trem clad you have gray, dark gray, or light gray, dark gray. That's it, 2 choices. So light gray, too light. Dark gray for me might be a bit too dark, but I think it's going to look much nicer. But that means now, as I put the first, as I was just sort of cutting in around all the windows and everything, I think I'm going to need to put 2 coats on. So where I was only going to put 1 of the extra light gray on today, now I got to put 2 coats. So I just increased my day by about 5 hours. It's going to be worth it in the end. That's it. Done. Done. Like 55-ish hours, and today 10 hours, and it's done. at last. A few things I still got to fix, little spots where I got to cut back in, but I actually ran out of paint just when I finished, so when I pulled the masking tape off I saw that. Not a big deal. Yeah, looks pretty good. All the little pieces on here that are that stand out a little bit. Hinges, nice and black now, so even when they get greased up they don't look terrible. That's it. Stevie is done. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. He looks amazing.